Here we are. I don't know how many days in a row this is, but I almost didn't do this live tonight because I'm out here in Orlando, so out for the IBC practitioners group, the think tank. And what's up, Luke? I didn't think I was going to go live. I literally, the flight out here, I left at 5, did the webinar, did WTF, worked in the office all day, and got up at 5 a.m. this morning to get ready for WTF. I think that's something that a lot of people don't realize is they don't realize how much prep we put into the YouTube videos, WTF, wealth webinar, March Money Madness. What's going on, Dex? It says a lot of prep. Like literally, I rolled out of bed at 5 after 5 this morning. I usually go to the gym, but I'm like, nope, I got to get ready for WTF. I mean, Trump was on last night, and like I didn't stay up for the whole thing just because got to get your beauty rest in. But I got up in the morning and just kind of read everything, white papers. What's up, Drew? And when I kind of thought about the prep that goes into that, this right here, I don't prep for at all. I literally was walking up here from the lobby after I checked into the hotel. I'm exhausted, but walking up here and I'm thinking, what do I talk about? And it kind of came to me right before I went live. And the thing I was thinking is, how you do one thing is how you do everything. You've heard that. And I know it's kind of cliche because you've all heard about that, but it always brings me back to that speech that one, I think it was a Marine did. You've probably all, it was like a commencement speech at a college, and he was talking about it, and he goes through all the different things. I don't remember, but it just always brings me back to how you do one thing is how you do everything. I teach my daughter this all the time. And I don't know. I mean, this is maybe kind of weird stuff, but I don't know how many of you, when you get up in the morning, no matter how big of a rush you're in, it's a priority for you to make your bed. And I don't know how many of you, when you make your bed, you kind of just smooth the lines out. I don't always do a perfect job of making the bed, but every morning, no matter what, my wife never makes the bed. She just rolls out and the bed's a mess. But every morning I get out of bed, I make the bed, whether or not I want to. And I've been showing my daughter this, and she says, Daddy, why do you make the bed? Because she's just like, we're just going to get back in it. And I'm like, because how you do one thing is how you do everything. And same thing with this show, like this show kind of just happened. It wasn't a lot of thought. It was just like Shauna was like, hey, can you go live and talk about Money Tank? And I'm like, sure, I'll go live and talk about Money Tank. And then I'm like, well, that was fun. So let's do it again and again and again. And I just started telling stories. And this today, it's not going to be a long one because it's late and I know that. But what we're going to talk about today is that theme, like all the different things I've done in business, the times when I wanted to quit, the times when I didn't want to do something, but I still did it because how you do one thing is how you do everything. So right there, who is that? That's Lisa said, yes, have to make my bed every single time. OCD is Luke. Start with making your bed in the morning. Yeah, I mean, it's just silly things. They're just, I mean, how many of you in the morning have like a ritual? Like you do the same thing every single morning. I am completely guilty. I get up pretty much the same time every single day. I do the exact same things. Vivian and Larissa are usually sleeping, so I can't make the bed till they're up. But I go downstairs, feed the cats, and then after I feed the cats, I make my coffee, I make a shake, and I sit down and I either listen to Earl Nightingale. So I'll put Earl Nightingale on. Any of you listen to Earl Nightingale, Strangest Secret in the World? He's got a bunch of them, but I went down that rabbit hole and I did like a 30-day challenge last year. And maybe we'll do that again in 2025. Maybe we'll do that for this group. We'll do a Earl Nightingale 30-day challenge. It'll change your life. But I didn't just do 30 days. I did I don't even know, I think I did over 100 days of just every morning listening to Earl Nightingale. Now, every morning, what do? Most mornings I listen to Earl Nightingale unless I'm prepping for WTF or doing some work. It's always a ritual, but you build that habit in work, in life, in building wealth. You build that habit. So let's just talk about saving, right? I know back a long time ago, this would have been early 2000s. I wasn't much of a saver. I saved because my mom taught me to save, but I would save for things, but I wasn't much of a saver. I mean, part of me was I just didn't have any extra money. I mean, if I did, I was using it to go snowboarding or using it to do something like that, but I didn't have any extra money. And I remember when I started as an advisor, I'll never forget, I started my first policy. And that first policy, I remember looking at it, and it wasn't even a whole life. It was a universal life. So, like, a lot of people don't know that my first policy that I started was a universal life, because back then in the early 2000s, rates were high. Universal lives had a guarantee of 4%, and they were the rage. Kind of like today, IULs are the rage. Back then, universal life policies were the rage. There was this one product called the accumulator, and they all failed, just so you know. For the most part, all the accumulators and all the VULs that we did back in the early 2000s, they all ran into problems. Hint, hint. Same thing's going to happen to IULs. You watch, you wait. It took a long time. It took a giant recession called the Great Recession to knock them off the pedestal, but they will take a hit. But what I'm getting at is that habitual habit that you build. So I remember I took that policy out. It was $200 a month. Actually, it might have been, I think it might have been $240 a month. It doesn't matter, but $200 or $240. Now, that doesn't seem like a lot today, but back then, that was a lot of money for me. Like, I literally was contemplating whether or not I'd be able to afford that every single month, on top of my rent, on top of my, I think I had a car payment, I don't remember, but on top of everything else. And I remember I started it, and at first, every month, I knew that 200 was coming out of my account. Any of you relate to that? Like, you set something up, like you set up a draft, and you're like, oh, here it comes. That's coming out this month. I don't care if it's a car payment. I don't care if it's a 401k, contribution, or maybe it's your specially designed whole life for your IBC, but you set it up, and you just know, you set it up for the 15th. You're stressing about it. 13th, 14th, 15th comes out. Like, oh, but then what happens? Like, who can tell me what happens? So Shane is saying absolutely. Who can tell me what happens? Like, anyone over on Instagram? Let me throw some love over here to Instagram. How many of you have that? And like, when you started saving, you basically you were freaking out by how much you decided to save or decided to put into something. What happened after you did it for 3 months? Got easier, didn't it? How about 6 months? You barely even remember it. How about a year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years? Shoot, you don't even know what's coming out of your account, because it's habitual, because you created that. You built it into your daily living. It's almost subconsciously, because like at first it's totally, you're conscious of it. And then all of a sudden it kind of fades and other things become more important. And then eventually, like, you don't even know. I did this recently. So a couple of years ago, I started saving. I read the book Profit First. If any of you haven't read the book Profit First, you must read it. But you don't just read the book, apply the book. I apply Profit First in everything I do. Every company I operates on the exact metrics of Profit First. Okay, I call the accounts things different. Maybe you've heard me call, one of our accounts is the war chest, one's the reserve account, one's the tax account. So I guess maybe it's not too far off. But what I'm getting at with Profit First is, a couple of years ago, I opened, I've always used Schwab, because Charles Schwab was the custodian that we used at the brokerage I worked for, at the RIA that I worked for. And I loved Schwab. So I was very familiar with Schwab, but I set up a new account at Schwab. And this account was going to be an account that I was going to use to save money for taxes. Up to that point, my taxes, I would just kind of haphazardly do it. My accountant would give me my estimated tax payments, and I would just try to make it every quarter. And then that got tough, because they got bigger and bigger. So then all of a sudden I started saving on a monthly basis, and then that got tough. So then what I did is I started doing it on a biweekly, and now it's a weekly. But and I'm not going to, well, I guess it doesn't matter. I'll give you the dollar amounts. I mean, every single week, I put a couple $1,000s away into the Schwab account. It sweeps from my account. But how I did it, this is what's unique, is inside Schwab, you can open, like, when you do it, you can basically set up many drafts. You can set up a whole bunch of different drafts. I don't know if that's every platform, but Schwab, you can set up one for 500, that comes out on Monday. You literally could go through the entire week, Monday through Sunday, if you wanted, and you could set up a draft on every day. So this is what I did. Like, I don't know how many days I do this. I'd actually literally have to look at it, but I think I save like $6,000, $5,000 or so a month, $6,000 a month or so goes into that Schwab. And this is my tax savings. And I think it's even maybe a little bit more, but it doesn't matter. It's how I do it. So every day I set it up to have a certain amount come out. Every single day, a certain amount comes out of that account. And at first it sucked. I felt broke every week. I was like, oh my God, there's not gonna be enough money. I'm transferring money in from my line of credit, so on and so forth. Yeah, it was basically difficult, but then it got easier. Just like you guys were just saying a second ago, it got easier. And then it got even easier. And then all of a sudden I didn't even realize it was coming out. And I remember I kind of got reminded about this when I looked at, because I work with my bookkeeper, and I was looking through my bank account. I'm like, holy crap, look at all these withdrawals going to these transfers going to Schwab. But that's how it works, folks. You build habit. How you do one thing is how you do everything. So once you start doing that, just keep doing that. And I get it. And here's the thing. Some people are thinking, yeah, well, that's because you make money and, blah, blah, blah. I don't have that kind of money. Nor did I. But you know what? There's something weird. I can't explain it. I don't know what it is. But when you start doing something, somehow you just figure it out. When I started putting 200 or 240 into that policy, it was really hard. But then all of a sudden I just figured it out. And then I did a 500, and I think it's like 560. I've done YouTube videos with that. That was my first whole life policy at New York Life. And that was a huge step. That was a huge step for me. But I got used to it. And then you just keep building on. And the weirdest thing is somehow it just gets easier. Even though it's a stretch at first, but then as you do it for longer and longer, it just somehow happens. You figure it out. Maybe it is subconsciously. Maybe at first you're so hyper focused on it, but then all of a sudden you take your focus off of it, and then you're not hyper focused on it, and then all of a sudden it just happens, and the universe just makes, I don't want to say it this way, but make sure the money just makes it into your account. So let me take that another step. So this unique thing happened when me and Loris were flipping all those houses. We were doing 20, 25 houses a month. We always had cash flow problems. I remember times, and Shauna would tell you the stories because she was working for us then, where literally we didn't have enough money to pay Shauna. We didn't have enough money to pay rent. We didn't have enough money to pay utilities because all of our money was out in these real estate deals. All the contractors, boy, they want to get paid Friday at 4:45. It was just crazy. But the thing I'm trying to get across is somehow, some way, even when I thought it's all over, and I think I had to have said this so many times to Larissa that she probably just stopped even listening. I'm like, we're done. It's all over. Like, there's no way we're not going to be able to do it. And then all of a sudden, because we were wholesaling too, a wholesale deal would happen. And you know how much it would happen for? This is the sick game that I think the universe plays on us. Exactly how much we needed. Like, we would wholesale a deal and we'd get a check for $3,000, or we'd get a check for $5,000 for that wholesale. And we needed $3,000 or $5,000. The most it ever seemed to give us was enough to get us about a week, no more than 2 weeks. But then all of a sudden one of the flips would sell. And that was the longest process ever. You'd sell the property, then you go through the home inspection, then you go through all that bullshit. And then someday, way out in the future, after you're paying all these carry costs, after you've already been exhausted on it, after you're watching your profit just whittle away in carry costs, it sells. And you get a check, 10 grand, 20 grand, 40 grand, 50 grand, whatever it is. And then that kind of coasts you a little bit. And what I started doing, that's when I read Profit First. I started taking some of the profits from the flips, and I started building reserves. So now the next time we got in that pinch, we had reserves, although I never tried to go into them. And that was the unique thing. The same thing happened. We'd do a wholesale deal. Something would happen. We would find money somewhere. Something would just come together. And it always was in the 22nd hour. Like, it was always at the very last minute. And I'll never forget, we had this little thing. Me and Larissa at that time, we were doing lots of education. We were spending a lot of the money we made on educating ourselves. We were part of a very expensive real estate training program and coaching program that we kept expanding. I think we ended up spending like 90 grand with that company. I mean, too much, but that's how we got where we were. And we had this kind of sick joke. Every time we would travel to an event, every time we'd be on vacation, a house would sell. And it was like clockwork. We'd be out there, we'd be sitting, and I remember one we were out in Boston for the Flipping Boston guys, Dave and oh my God, why am I forgetting his name? Dave and someone else. Peter and Dave. And the phone rang and it was a realtor. And we rushed out of the room because we knew it. We were in tune with the universe. We're like, see, every time, watch, it's going to be an offer. Sure as shit, out in that hallway, it was an offer, full price. We took it, gave it to our attorney, and boom. And then we went back. And then can you imagine like the mood we were in when we went back in that room? We're in a real estate event with two, HGTV flipping guys. I think that was HGTV. And when they called on us, we literally told the whole group, we just stepped out and one of our flips sold. And it just happened all the time. It was so freaking crazy that it was almost unbelievable because every time we traveled, that would happen. And if there was ever a time we traveled and it didn't happen, it was like the weirdest thing. So let me just see what everybody's saying. We got a bunch of people here. We got Freddie with us. We got Gino. I feel so broke. I can't even pay attention. Okay, well, that's a problem. You got to pay attention. So don't get so broke that you can't pay attention. Unbroke yourself. Start saying, I'm not broke. I am not broke. So if you keep saying that, Gino, if you keep saying I'm broke, you're going to stay broke. But if you start saying I am not broke, or you start saying I am getting wealthy, I am getting wealthy. You keep saying that every day. Say it all the time. I always say I am selling PMC for 350 million. Like that's such a huge number. And a lot of people don't believe me, but I say it almost every day. I put it into the universe and I keep saying it because your mind doesn't know the difference, Gino. Like if you keep telling yourself you're broke or I can't do this, then you can't do it and you will stay broke. But if you start changing that and you start every single day saying, I am, whatever it is you want to be, I am, your mind will start believing it. And your mind will start changing everything, the chemical composition in you. I'm not foo-foo like that, but I'm telling you that shit's real. But if you stay negative mindset, I've been there, nothing will change. Everything will keep getting worse. The next day will be worse than the day before. The day after that will be worse than the day before. It will just keep getting worse, but it's a mindset thing. You got to change that first. So instead of saying a comment, Gino, let's try this. Instead of saying, I feel so broke, say, I feel so wealthy. But don't say, I feel, say, I am. I am. I am. Liquidation truckloads, Brian said, not sure what that's relative to. If you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. There you go, Shane. Absolutely correct. So I'm waiting for Gino. Let's everybody kind of root for Gino to say, I am wealthy. I am getting rich. Whatever you want to say. But I know you're like, oh, I didn't come here for therapy. Some people are saying that. I'm not here to give you therapy. I'm just telling you what I've experienced in my life. And I'm telling you that it has worked. It has worked very well. So we're all waiting for you, Gino. What's up, man? Come on. It's definitely that. Just giving you a second here. That awkward silence sometimes gets people to do things. I am. Here I am. I love that. So we were just talking about the I ams, and then here I am comes in. Everybody could use a little therapy at least. Yes. All right. So back to the saving thing. So you know that it gets easier as you start doing it. It's always a bitch in the beginning. It gets tough, but it gets easier as you keep doing it and keep saving. And then you just layer onto it. And the best thing you can do, and I tell this to people all the time. I mean, obviously we can go right to the specially designed whole life, but what I always tell people is they say, okay, go to your bank or go to a bank you don't bank at. Go to a credit union, open up a bank account. I did this with Cornerstone Federal Credit Union. I've had an account there forever, but I didn't save any money there. And me and my wife went in and I said, all right, listen, here's what I want you to do. I want you to set up an automatic draft. And every single month, I want this much money to go into this account. And every single month it does. Because now you're starting to train yourself. And this would be a good thing for Gino. And this would be a good thing for everybody. Just try it. Go to a credit union or a different bank and set up an account and then pledge a certain dollar amount every week or every month. Some banks will allow you to do multiple drafts like Schwab. I love Schwab because that you can do it every day. So you can literally save every day. You can save every single week. Some places you got to do it monthly, but try a bank that will let you do it every day. And then just put $20 a day in and have it go over there into that account. Make sure it's an interest-bearing account. And just watch how fast money builds there. But here's the trick. You cannot get a debit card. No debit cards. Debit cards are bad. Just say that. Debit cards, bad. No debit cards. Don't even get a checkbook. And I would even suggest don't even look at the online statement. So just try it. See how much money you can save that way. See where your pain point is. Is it $100 a month, $200 a month, $1,000 a month? Like where is it that you start to squeal a little bit and then stop there until you get used to it? It's kind of like lifting weights. Everybody's got that easy, weight. And then as you go up, there's that one that, and we all know it is usually the 45 plates. You put those on, it's just like, this is heavy, but then it's not heavy after you do it for a couple of weeks. But if you stop doing it, it's heavy again. Isn't that funny how that works? Money's no different. Money's no different. Saving is no different. It's all the same idea. It really is. All right, there we go, Gino. I am going to get wealthy, brother. I love that. But Gino, you can't just say it once because I told you to say it. You got to say that every single day. Can you promise this entire group? Because we got a bunch of people over here on Instagram that you're not seeing. Plus, we got 38 people here. Gino, can you tell the entire group that every single day you're going to say exactly what you just typed in there? I mean, hell, write it down, dude. Write it down and say it every single day. And don't just say it to say it. Say it to mean it. And I'm telling you, I don't understand it. Don't understand it in the slightest. But if you did that every single day, guess what's going to happen? You're going to start getting wealthier. But don't let your mindset go back into that other place and start saying shit like you did a second ago. Because I'm telling you, just as fast as you started getting it, just like when you start working out and you're getting your reps up there, you're getting your weight up there, then all of a sudden you get sick or you go on vacation, 2 weeks, 3 weeks goes by, you come back in the gym, then all of a sudden that stuff's heavy again. It's the same. It's all coming from the same place. I don't fully get it, but it's the same thing. So if you start saying it every single day, but then you start saying, "Oh, I'm so broke," then you're gonna start right back over, man. So you gotta do that. Saving money is not easy because it's a habitual thing. But again, just like I'm telling you to say, I am going to get wealthy. Okay, I am going to get wealthy. You say that every single day is no different than when you start saying saving money. You say, I am going to get wealthy, and you put $20 a week away. And then that $20 a week turns into $50 a week. And then it turns into 100. And you just keep testing those thresholds and you keep doing it. And Gino and everybody else, for some way, somehow, the money will just appear, but you can't dive all the way in. One of the things I think that a lot of people did is after COVID, a lot of people had savings. They had paid their debts down. The government was throwing money at them. So a lot of people felt really wealthy. So when the country opened back up, people ran out and just started spending money like crazy. They lived a different lifestyle. And not only that, a lot of people were making a lot of money on side hustles because now they sat at home. They had time for the first time in a long time. They got side hustles. So side hustles are giving them a bunch of extra money and they started overdoing it. They bought fancier cars, bigger houses. I mean, we all know what happened there. And now what you're seeing is that correction phase because people got to a certain point where they extended way too much and now things are getting tight. And then now when things get tight, that's when you start saying, "Oh, I'm so broke." That's when you start saying, "Oh, this sucks. Oh, I don't know how I'm going to do," but it's all part of it. Like just, you got to stay positive with it. The second you flip, the second you stop making your bed, the second you stop doing the normal rituals, is the second it all starts to undo itself. And I think it undoes itself faster than it does itself. I don't know. But, so put it on your mirror. I used to do that, Lisa. I used to. I had, this is back when we were in Hopkins Road. We were doing the real estate. I put goals and I used to do some Facebook lives on this. I had a big bright yellow, and my wife hated it, bright yellow piece of paper in giant marker. I wrote on it and I put my goal and I stood at it. I stared at it every single day. It's vision board stuff, but it was just one thing. And it was like a specific amount of money. And I don't even remember what it is, but it happened. Okay. So all that stuff's right. It's all exactly how it works. I just don't know how to fully explain it. Back to where people made the mistake, everybody felt rich. We felt like we had more money after the pandemic, and we did indeed have more money. Inflation wasn't what it is today. Interest rates were low, so all of that. But a lot of people, when they started their policies, I'll go to the policies. They'd start their policies and they overcommitted to those policies. They're like, oh, I got all this money, I'm going to go huge, because it's almost like a badge of honor. Like, you're beat your chest because you're doing a bunch. A lot of those people had to reduce the dollar amounts. A lot of those people had to surrender their policies because they way overstretched, especially real estate investors. And I took that very personal, because we obviously failed them too. We should now, today, we have trained all of our mentors, and all of our mentors know this. We're not going to let you overstretch yourself. We're literally going to say, well, let's just start with this. Now that seems weird, right? Like, wouldn't we want you to put as much money as possible into the specially designed whole lives? Yes. But what we want more is you to make it the long run, because the stuff gets so good the longer you have it. If you don't make it the long run, we've failed you, and you failed yourself too. So we've gotten a lot better at that. Again, learning lessons, just these little lessons that you learn, these little things that you got to keep doing. So with that being said, let's talk a little bit about, so today was the first day of March Money Madness. Who all was at March Money Madness? And I'm going to come back to Rob's question in a second, or Rob's comment. So today was March Money Madness, 1:00 Eastern. Okay. We did a webinar. We had 220 people on it, pretty much the entire hour and a half. And we focused on the fundamentals of money, the fundamentals of banking, the fundamentals of you being your own bank. I mean, listen, I don't know where an hour and a half went. I literally looked, Steven had to interrupt me to tell everybody about the offer that we were given for that. And I couldn't comprehend how that much time had gone by. I just got in this flow state. I don't even know what happened. I mean, Dex, maybe you can tell me later, or Shane, tell me later. I have no idea what happened. But an hour and a half pretty much went by like that, and I didn't even know it. I mean, was it good? Did you, even though Shane and Dex have been around this campfire for a while, they know their stuff, and we went back to the fundamentals, which are bare bone basic stuff that's I don't want to say beneath Shane and Dex, but they've been doing this for a while. Did you get something out of that, even though it was back to the basics? And you don't have to lie to me. If you didn't get anything out of it, then you didn't get anything. Rob said he loved it today. That makes me happy. Rob also said interest rates were low, but other things were sky high. Yeah, so good point, Rob. Rob said interest rates were low, but everything else was high. So what he's referring to is gas prices. Remember, gas was super high, but not only that, the price of everything was high. Cars, people were asking crazy amounts of money for cars. Seemed like everybody wanted top dollar. Well, that's just supply and demand, because you didn't have the supply, you had the demand. So that was exactly that. But yeah, that's the problem. Once we got trained to pay more, it hadn't stopped. And that's the problem with inflation, that hidden taxes. Unless you go into deflation, maybe stagflation a little bit, deflation, which is usually what you see during a recession or a depressionary period, that's the only way you bring prices down. Okay. And it sucks, because we were at such high elevated prices. I cannot believe how much things are. So I was in my old shop, Fat Man. I haven't stepped foot in that shop in a long time. And I was competing. And those of you that were on this, you heard all about the competition. And I saw Frank, who's the guy that bought the shop from me. He's not a guy, he's kind of a kid, but he's not a kid anymore. And we're just talking, and I'm in there and I'm looking through all the pricing and everything. And I didn't say anything to Frank. I bought new snowboard boots because I blew my boots out at that competition. He tuned my board for me, but I'm walking around looking at the pricing, and I'm just because I remember I sold the shop in 2010. So in my mind, it's almost like a time warp. Everything was frozen in 2010 from a pricing standpoint. I knew what these things cost. I was going through looking at snowboards, and I'm just these aren't high-end snowboards, and that's how much they are. The low-end snowboards cost what a high-end snowboard used to cost. The low-end boot cost what the highest of high-end boot used to cost. Sneakers are crazy expensive. I just couldn't believe my eyes on how much all this stuff was. But that's exactly to what Rob was saying. We got used to the high prices, but the high prices are just there to stay. And that sucks. That sucks. So Gino, thank you for committing to that promise. And Gino, one other thing I think that would really help you, and you can do this or you don't have to do this, but I think it will help you. Every day, pull up Earl Nightingale's The Strangest Secret in the World and listen to it every day and just write down or I used to text. I had a group text with like an accountability team. That was when we were doing that challenge. And every day I would text one thing I took out of that video. So The Strangest Thing in the World is what it's called. It's Earl Nightingale. You'll find it. Just Google it. You'll find it. It won't be hard. Every day, Gino, try it for like this week. Try it every day the rest of this week. And if you're getting good at it, then continue on. Try to never miss a day and try to do it for 30 days. It's a challenge. And I'm telling you that on top of you saying, I am going to be wealthy, will absolutely flip the switch on. It will totally change everything. So just do it. All right, let's see. Yeah, we got V Tribe in the house. That is pretty cool. Yeah, we definitely got the V Tribe. I got AC in here, minus the live. Let's pop over to Instagram. Instagram's relatively quiet, so I think people from Instagram, I think they hop on and then they hop off. But here we go. We got Sam on here. That looks like the man in the hotel. Also, everybody give some props to Sam. He's the one that pretty much did our entire children's book that I read the other night. He did all the art. It was phenomenal. So he did all of that. And you know what I should do tonight is, let me see. Give me one quick second. Let me see if I can do something here, because this would be pretty sweet if I can pull this off. I emailed myself the book, and what I'd love to do, since we just did this yesterday, let's see if I can find it. Sam emailed me this book, so I want to see if I can find the PowerPoint. I always struggle with this, and Sam's probably laughing at me right now because I just can never seem to find the companion. Let's see the updates. I'm not going to spend too much time on this, but if I can find it here real quick, I can pull it up and I can show you the finished copy. Cover. Here we go. I did find it. How about that? I'm going to download it. And then yesterday I read this, but I just want you to see the graphics that Sam did. I mean, it's just absolutely freaking amazing. So in a second, I'll pull that up. I just got to wait for it to download here. It's a pretty big file. And I'll just walk you through the different pages, and you can all tell Sam what you think of the graphics that he did on this book. But I think the graphics will make it. And Secret Knockers San Diego will be lit. When is Secret? Is Secret Knock coming up in this month? It is, right? I won't be there at this one because I'm just traveling way too much. But that's this month. All right, so let's see. We're about halfway downloaded. Let's come back over here to Instagram, see if anyone else other than Sam commented. Let's see. So Sam again. Here we go. 511. So 511 Cowboy 973. Hey, Chris. Alex here. Great info. Thank you so much for all you do. Thank you for being here, Alex. Thanks, man. Let's see. Anything else? We got Carson Hurling jumping up. Look at that. I just saw some videos Carson put up. He was flying in it wasn't a PJ, like a private jet, but it was like those jet shares. You ever see those things? So Carson's in California. They got lots of those jet shares. And in Buffalo, New York, that does not exist. You can't just fill a seat on a private jet and, whatever. What do they call that? Maybe Carson will comment on that. But here, let me show you what the book looks like. Pull the PowerPoint up. There it is. All right. Flip flop this. Start from scratch. Whoops. All right. Let me do this. I'm going to share my screen here real quick. I'm only dealing with one screen because I'm traveling, so got to kind of do this the good old-fashioned way. How is it? See, now I struggle. I downloaded it, but now I don't know where it is. There it is. Okay, so one companion slides. Why can't I just find that? One companion slides. Maybe this is it. Download. Can you guys see my screen? See, it should just open it because it's already downloaded. But again, here I don't. Can you see that? Flip over here. Can you guys see what I'm sharing on my screen? No, we're looking at the wrong thing. Maybe it's not going to work. Maybe it's not going to work because I don't know how to get this sucker to open. It's right here. I want to share it. We got any techies on here? See a screen, but you're not seeing the right screen because the only screens I can share is like the screens I have up top here. So like all the stuff that I have up top, I can share those. I can share PMC. I can show my YouTube, but I cannot. It's so small I can't really see it. Yeah, I was cause bus. I was showing the wrong thing. I've got it. It's right here. It's a PowerPoint. But how in the world do I share that with you folks? So we got it here. Google, PMC. What in the hell? This cannot be this complicated. Seriously. I got it, but it's not showing. Let's see, search. Is that no? Yes, yeah, it's downloaded. It's in my computer. I actually downloaded the dumb thing twice. It's right here. But why, when I go to StreamYard to share, does it not share? Slides, PDFs. Let's try that. No. Google Slides. No. I never really screw around with this. I always just do screen share because normally screen share works, but screen share is not working. I'm bummed. This really should be this complicated to share this. Well, I'm not going to come through for you folks because I just for some reason don't know how to open this. The PDF is opened. One, yeah, there it is, but it's not. Damn thing. I actually have it open like 5 times. There's got to be a way to do this because now I'm frustrated because this seems so stupid that I can't this thing. Let's see, download. Let's try it this way. The companion, PowerPoint. Yeah, see, it's all grayed out. Doesn't even let me do it. All right, whatever. That sucks. I thought I had it. I got it downloaded. It's right here. I really want to kind of show this. Just suck at computers, man. I just suck at these things. What if we did this? Play from current slide. Can we share from here? Because it's just a PowerPoint, right? I mean, did anyone know how to do this? Like with StreamYard? Anyone throw some love and kind of just help me figure it out? You have to view it in a browser, not download. So, okay, so Mason, you're onto something. So how do I take a download and get it into a browser? Like, is there a way to do that? Because Mason's absolutely correct. That's what's going on. Like, it's got to be in a browser, but I don't know how to get it in a browser. It's just downloaded. We'll see if Instagram's got anything. Just try opening it in PowerPoint. It is opened in PowerPoint. That isn't doing it. Let's see. It's just Mason's got the idea. Too many tabs will slow it down. I got tons of tabs open. That could be part of the problem, but I don't think that's the issue here. The issue isn't how many tabs I got open. The issue is I can't get the download into the tabs, the browser, if you will, because it just opens. Obviously, it's a PowerPoint. I got one other idea. Maybe this will work. I can't do it the way that I thought, which is the way I wanted to do it. I probably can do it this way. All right, Sam. We're gonna go and we're gonna try one more thing. And if this doesn't work, we're not doing anything. Because it is taking way too much time. All right, so now we've got it here. Can I share this? Let's try this. Maybe this will work. Maybe it won't. Don't know. Companion files. All right. This is not how I wanted to show it, because I wanted to show it so you could see the PowerPoint, but essentially, let's see, is that sharing? Yep, it is. Okay, so that is working a little bit. Again, not how I wanted to do it, but we're gonna just do it the old-fashioned way. So like this would be the one page, and then here's the graphics on that one, and these are in no order about the authors. We literally put so much time into just like the little details of like the color, the butterflies, trying to do all that. These are just all the pages of it. Illustrations and support. There you go. Shout out to Sam Welty. If any of you want artwork or graphics done, obviously you can see he's pretty freaking talented. There you go. This is where the companion is loaning the little girl part of him. It's right there. All we have ever needed is care and a bit more time, because he keeps giving pieces of him to her, and she eventually takes a lot from him, so he's getting weaker and weaker. And that's kind of the whole idea behind that, was she's taking from her policy, not repaying it. The companion is the policy, the IBC. She's getting mad. She's getting really upset here because she doesn't understand what's going on. You can see the companion is just beat up because he kept loaning her pieces of himself. Look at how cute that is. I mean, look at, come on, like a little kid seeing that, like a little girl crying, and he's just looking at her. You can see how weak he is. The dragon, I love these ones. She's not knowing what to do because he's not strong enough. The dragons, he is. Colors are just awesome. This is like the other companions going on their journey. So you can see here, this is like the silhouettes of the other journey or other companions going, and she wants to go, but he's too weak because she got ahead of herself and took advantage of taking it too early, not letting it build, not letting it get strong enough. And here she's just trying to get it, the companion. And notice how nothing has a name. It's just the companion and the little girl. That's it. Companion and girl. He's protecting her against the wind and the weather and the winter. Little songs. And every time when there's a song, I thought this was really cool that Sam did this. Every time it's a song, so that the parent knows to sing it with the child, there's the music notes. Just tiny little details. It's kind of going quicker. Here's the snow. He's protecting her, keeping her warm. She's freezing. Sam added a bunch of pages when he was doing it because we needed more pages, but there you go. So at least we were able to get that to work. All right. You heard me read it yesterday, but then you see the graphics, and if you read it with the graphics, it's just so much better. All right. Well, I can't believe there's still 43 people. It took me a while to do that. Thanks for sticking around, folks. So anyway, the theme for what we started talking about, and we're going to finish right where we started, is how you do one thing is how you do everything. I didn't want to do this live tonight. I'm tired. I wanted to I haven't eaten. There's just a lot of things in my mind, but then I'm thinking, nope, I got to do it. I made a commitment to do it, and here we are. And now today we're going to kind of throw that love over to Gino, because Gino made a commitment where he's going to do that. I am going to be wealthy, and he's going to listen to Strangest Secret in the World every single day for 30 days. So what's up, Mason? No problem. Shane, great imagination for the book. Yeah, it was a lot of Sam's input, a lot of Hannah's input, a lot of mine. It's definitely a collaborative effort. It wasn't just one person, wasn't just me. We all made that thing happen. All right, folks. Well, I am going to call it. Tomorrow night we will go live again, probably a little later because I'm out here in Orlando and I got an event. So there's probably dinners, but I'll be here. If you guys are up, I'll be on, and we'll find something really fun to talk about, because tomorrow I'll be fresh, because tomorrow started the event. I have a bunch of IBC practitioners, probably some speakers, we'll have some cool stuff to talk about. But I'd be remiss not to talk about two other things before we depart here. I know we lost a couple people, but don't forget, we got Dallas, got the private Money Club Money Tank event going on in Dallas. Get your tickets, and I'm actually going to play around with technology here a little bit and make this fun. Let's see. Got March Madness. Here we go. Put it right on the bottom so I don't have to keep saying it. 8th and 9th, if you want to come out for the VIP, you get $600 off with the early bird 2 discounts. So if you haven't grabbed your tickets for that, make sure you get them. And if any of you want and you have not yet, here, let me show you one more thing. We got March Money Madness. This is what we did this afternoon for the first of the March Money Madness, but I'm just going to show it to you again because this is a silly freaking deal. It really is. So we put this together for the month of March only. This is not a permanent thing. It's only March. What we're doing is we bundled together, number one, MSTV, which I'll show you what that is. It's the education we wish we all got in school when it came to money. But you're going to get all the books, Private Money Guide, Mapping Out the Millionaire Mystery, What Would the Rockefellers Do, the car buying booklet. You're going to get access to MSTV for a year. We do lives every single week on there, lives that you cannot get unless you're a member of MSTV. So we got all that. Again, here's the bundle, all the stuff that you're going to get. It's basically $748 worth of stuff. We broke it all down. And actually, they undervalued a couple things here, so it's probably more than that. And we're giving it to you folks for 12 months. You get all this extra stuff for $197. And another thing you get is the recordings of all the March Money Madness. We are not putting any of the March Money Madnesses on YouTube. They're only going to be available exclusively for MSTV members, and it will all be in MSTV. And MSTV's got a lot of stuff, and there's going to be a whole lot more coming. So if any of you are interested in this, here, I'll put the link in. But this is a crazy, crazy, crazy good offer. And I'm not trying to sit here and, shove anything down your guys' throats here, but listen, like when you see a good deal, you know it's a good deal. So there it is, moneyschool.tv, moneyschool.tv/MMM. So if any of you want to grab that, it's $197, get you access to MSTV for 12 months and all the recordings and all that other stuff. All right, now I am done. So there we go. Shane committed to Private Money Club's Money Tank. He's got his VIP ticket. Way to go, Shane. Can't wait to see you out there. All right. Title of the video you talked about. What was the title of the video you talked about? Taxes. Are you talking about the YouTube video? I've done several about taxes, but the one that I did on the taxes would be, so that was the live that I just did the other night. And let's see, where is that? That would have been Private Money Talk with a Twist, I think. You'd have to go on my YouTube channel. You just kind of have to look at which one. I'm not really sure what you mean, Lisa, in terms of taxes. I thought it was recently this week. It was. So here, let me just share my screen. This will be my last share. But so every night I've gone live, and what we're doing is on YouTube. And I think Lisa, you're coming in from YouTube. On YouTube, you go in here. So when you're on my page, you just go to the live tab. And I can't remember which one was the taxes one. Might have been. It was. I think maybe this one. How connections change everything. It's one of these, but you just go in there. You go live, and one of these is the tax one that I did. But I've got a whole bunch of other videos on taxes as well. So, whoops, don't know what the hell I just hit. But if you just go over here and you go into search and you just put tax. I don't know anything what'll come up, but there's some best way to pay your taxes. So we got a couple of them, secret tax loopholes. But yeah, you just got to kind of search through it. But that one that you're talking about is one that we did. Gosh, I think it was like 2 days ago. I'm starting to lose track of time, but Monday. So it was the one we did Monday. So just go back in that live on YouTube, Lisa, and just kind of go back and figure out what one of those was Monday. We all voted to talk about taxes. Yes, I remember that. All right. That's a wrap. I'm calling it. you guys all go get some sleep. I don't know. I know some of you are West Coasters, so it's not quite as late, but it is getting around 10 o'clock here, and I got up at 5. So it's lights out for that, or for me. But for the rest of you, thanks for joining me. See you tomorrow.